Welcome to Topper Talk, your number one Western Kentucky athletics podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Moffitt, and I'm joined by co-host Tyler Bailey. Hilltopper Nation, whether it's happening on the hill or on the road, grab those red towels, stand up and cheer, because it's up next on Topper Talk. Welcome back, and thank you for downloading and listening to another episode of the Topper Talk podcast. As always, feel free to follow us on social media, keep up with all the content, everything that we're posting and sharing. This podcast is sponsored by the Fireman Moving Company. They are the official moving company of WKU Athletics. Not only can they be trusted to move all the coaches in and out of Western, but they can move you anywhere nationwide. The Fireman Moving Company is owned and operated by firemen and is founded by WKU alumni. If you're looking to move sometime soon, give them a call at 270-791-1755 and get yourself a free quote. Like I always say, I promise you it'll be the best call you make if you're moving or you have moving needs. Give them a call. They would definitely help you out. Pretty excited for this show. I've got a big guest, and I mean big guest in a number of ways. One, because really good basketball player that all of us WKU fans are going to be very familiar with, but he's also, a 6'11", 250-pound big guy, big man in the middle. So got to welcome to the show, and thank you for being here, Mr. Rodney Howard, man. Appreciate you being here and joining us.
No, I appreciate you having me today.
Absolutely, man. Now, I just want to have a conversation with you, man. Get to know you a little bit better. And I think one of the first things that I find interesting, as soon as you signed here, everybody looks into your bio immediately. They want to know about you. Where'd you come from? Where did you play? How'd you do when you were playing there? But one of the things I found interesting is that you got a late start playing basketball. You didn't start playing till your sophomore year. I believe it was. You were playing football before then, is what I've seen on your 94 feet video. So was there any other reason that you weren't playing basketball, or what got you to actually, finally make that move and pick up the round ball?
It was a reason why I got into basketball. I'm get into that in a little bit. But everybody always asks me, like, Rod, like, I'm always, tallest person in the class or, school or whatever it is. But when I moved to Georgia, I was sixth grade. Football coach came up to me. He was like, "Man, you're a big sixth grader." I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Football." My mom was against football. She's like, no. Like she don't want nobody hitting her baby. You know how the parents is. But so I played football 6th to 9th grade. I'd have probably been still playing football, but the coach didn't want me to do two, because I wanted to get into basketball. And the reason why I got into basketball was my late father, who passed away. Actually, today is his 8th year anniversary when he passed away. But he always wanted me to get into basketball. And like the year that he died, that summer, was was going to be training a whole lot to get ready for basketball. And I just felt like once he passed away, I had to do it to honor him. I wore 24 previously to that was the best one number he wore, but now I switched to 0. But that's why I got into basketball. I mean, I love it. Sometimes I miss playing football, but that cold weather and that constant hitting and stuff is like, nah.
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit. And I saw the father tribute you had earlier on social media, and I definitely know he's looking down and he's proud of the man and the ball player you've become, man. You're one of a kind, and we're glad to have you here.
I appreciate it. I think all the time, like, how I would be just seeing him, in the stands cheering for me. My dad was one of those hardcore dads. Like, he wants everything just 110%, or he's on my behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, coming out of high school, I saw that you were a three-star prospect.
Yeah.
At what point during your playing career, starting your sophomore year before you really got into college ball, when did you realize that this really could be something for you, that you maybe were D1 talent, this could pay for your college education and maybe even be a future professional career for you?
Yeah. Everybody always told me, like, you have a Division I body, like you're a walking Division I scholarship. In my head, I'm like, yeah, cool, but I didn't, me, I'm always going to be honest, I didn't think I was good. I feel like I developed and became better, as I grew older, matured in the game. I feel like I got, way better than when I first started off. Basketball is one of those skilled sports. You just can't throw somebody out there and just like make something happen. Like, you actually got to work on your craft. You got to do the X's and O's. But like football, for instance, you might can throw somebody out there and they might be just fine. But when I started realizing was I actually got my first offer from Middle Tennessee State, and they watched they watched me when I first started playing basketball. One of my coaches, still close with him today, Coach Rico. He picked me up with on the Adidas circuit team, so that was a huge step into getting in front of all those college coaches and stuff. But he looked at me. He said, "Man, don't talk to no other AAU coaches. Like I'm gonna help you get where you want to go." And ever since then, me and his relationship just been solid bottom and just working. And every time like a coach came and see me play or came and watched me, they just like, wow, you just have proven and improving as the game goes on, and your maturity in the game as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like,
for sure. Go ahead.
No, it was fun just having all the coaches come out and like actually seeing like maybe I can go somewhere with basketball. I would have never thought 6th grade that I would be playing basketball at WKU.
Yeah, man, it could take you around the world for sure. I mean, you've been all over the country, and there's more out there for sure as your career continues. Found it interesting. You played at Legacy Charter, a team that went 34-5. That's a pretty incredible season and won the National Prep School Championship.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that team and that experience. That had to be a pretty good team to be running with.
Dude, to be honest, we should only lost 2 games. If I can remember correctly, we lost to one Canadian team. I can't get over that loss. And we lost one time to this other team. I mean, they were at Nike Elite School. Was I forgot the name of the school, but we beat the Quality Education. They're a Nike Elite team. I believe they're in North Carolina somewhere, and lost to them. And we beat them the second time, so that's 2 losses. We should have only had 3 losses. One of the teams smacked the mess out of it. Was a Wasatch. I think they're out in Washington or something. But me and my friend went there. Jalen McQuarrie, he wound up starting his career off in at South Carolina. Then now he's doing wonderful at down to Mercer. But me and him wanted to team up for our last year, and the only way possible, which the high school rules, got to live in the district. But we found a team at Legacy and went down there and teamed up. But that's a fun experience. You're playing high level competition. You're going state to state, almost on the national level. But it was fun. We won the championship. The semifinals, we was playing Kyrie Walker. We had shut him down that game, but it was fun. We was down by like 12, wind up moving on, advancing to the finals and won it. And it was fun.
Man, that's incredible, man. I knew that had to be a fun team, just a fun experience, playing for that and ultimately winning a title. No matter what level you're at, the goal is to win a title, put that trophy up. So, man, that had to be an amazing experience.
Yeah, in Greenville, we all the out of town players, we just stayed in the house and just went to school and went to practice, and that was it.
I say that's the life right there, man. It looks like you committed to University of Georgia.
Yeah.
Went and played a year there. So I had no idea until recently. You played there with Ant.
Yep.
So just crazy. It feels like he's been in the league forever now. He's a superstar. So just, I guess, tell me, what was your recruiting process like? Who else was looking at you coming out of high school or out of prep school there? And what made you end up ultimately choosing Georgia?
Yeah. So, Kermit Davis is over there at Middle Tennessee State, and I originally signed to Ole Miss. Once he got to Ole Miss, got out of my letter of intent, and I didn't know how my recruitment process was going to be after that. I was committed to them since my junior year. Signed, went through the whole process. Then in May, I believe it was, got out of my letter of intent, and it was like every school in America was calling it. As long as it wasn't a blue blood, I probably have heard from them or they talked to my coach or whatever the case is. But I knew I had to narrow it down quick. I originally narrowed it down to Georgia and Georgia Tech. I just felt like I had to move quickly with the process, and I went on a visit there. It was like a dead period, so you couldn't even like really talk to them and go on campus and stuff. But narrowed it down. Georgia sold me, and I went down to Athens.
Yeah, Athens is a good place. I know I've been down there a couple times. Zaxby's headquarters, or it used to be. It's in Atlanta now, but I've been down to Athens a couple times. Ultimately, you played a season there, decide to hit the portal. Not uncommon in today's world. You hit the portal. Looks like you chose your backup plan. Went to Georgia Tech. What kind of made that decision happen and drew you back to Georgia Tech, making that change of scenery after 1 year?
Yeah, I enjoyed my time down at UGA playing with great players. I played with Ant-Man, Xavier Woodley. He went to Kentucky after Georgia, went to Washington, fast PG. And Tumani Kamara, he's with the Trailblazers now. Uh, but it was I wound up into the portal. I chose Georgia Tech just because I feel like I still needed to mature my game and just be able to compete in the ACC and the SEC. They had a big man coach and he was really well developing players. His name was Eric Revenue. He's at Oregon State now, but I feel like I just need to go there and just continue to get better. Then my mom was down the street like 20 minutes, so that was also cool. Just having her up there consistently. She's always trying to travel to come see. I'm like, Mom, it's okay. Like if you miss a game or two, like I'm not gonna feel hurt. I know how much you care about me in basketball.
Hey, we got to be there, cheer on our kids, man. I'm sure she's still proud of you to this day. Now, ultimately, you played 3 years at Georgia Tech. You played a lot of basketball there, man. Just looking at your bio and just how much you got to play in games. Ultimately, you got your degree, man. That's what it's all about. Didn't decide to transfer. Now you're a graduate transfer, and I feel like probably when you hit the portal this time, that had probably looked a little different because now NILs and collectives and all this stuff were commonplace and were big influences in recruiting and where people are going. So, how did hitting the portal after 3 years at Georgia Tech, how was it different than the previous time leaving Georgia and just going to your backup? And what made you ultimately decide to come to Western Kentucky?
Oof. Compared to the first time, obviously now that NILs in play it was just way different. Me entering the portal the first time was almost like gambling on myself in a sense. Like I didn't know Georgia Tech was still gonna recruit. I didn't know if anybody recruit. I played sparingly at Georgia. Georgia probably played about 8 minutes, played in 20 some odd games. But that process was fairly easy. I just knew I should have went to Georgia Tech. Like that's where I felt like I was most comfortable when it was all said and done. Now the second time it was bizarre. I'm not gonna lie. It was just a lot overwhelming. Like I just look at my phone like this is just a nonstop thing. Like just phone call, phone call. It took me quite a few times to really even answer the call. Really, I was just trying to embrace that I'm in a portal now. Like this is a new reality. I spent 3 years at Georgia Tech, but hearing everybody's pitch, I didn't even think I would end up at WKU. I was funny thing is I was actually calling them and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna come here. Like I'm not gonna take the visit. And they wound up convincing me and coming down. And when I got to the place, I was like, wow, this is actually like a cool community, love basketball, and just, a lot of support within the basketball program and community. I just felt like once I got here, I actually got that vibe. How they were trying to build everything up and how they have the high major transfers that, came here, done well and stuff like that. But with the NIL things, you got to always take that with a grain of salt. Like you don't know who's actually telling you the real thing about it. Anybody can lie to you, say, "Oh, you're going to make $1 million." Are you going to make $1 million? That was the thing.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I'm glad you were unsure about Western, but the thing I love about Bowling Green and Western Kentucky University is, man, we have a lot of basketball history and tradition that
Yes.
a lot of people, a casual fan doesn't know. But once we've always felt confident that if we can get recruits on campus, whether sport it is, football, basketball, whatever, baseball, one, the campus is beautiful. The facilities all have history. We celebrate the history and tradition. So I'm glad that we talked you into getting here, and once you got here, I'm glad you loved it because this community and the campus and the fan support is very top notch.
It is.
Um,
And when when talking to Lutz is just like a great guy. He's gonna always be on you 24/7. But just hearing his pitch, I just felt like it was different. Like he knew like the offense I played at Georgia Tech wasn't me. Like I'm more down low, just being physical, just create angles for my teammates to even score, ducking in and stuff. But hearing his pitch was different. Then, like you said, basketball history. Like you walk in the locker room, you just do a whole 360 turn, and you see all the championships they had won, conference championships, regular season. You just see it all, and it's all in your face. I'm just okay. Like this is something to be proud of, and you want to be a part of as well.
Yeah, no, obviously we have a mutual friend. We've met a couple times through him, Hank Wilson, the
Yep.
founder here of our collective, the Red Towel Trust. How would you say, how did he factor into your recruiting as a resource and mainly as your point of contact, for the Red Towel Trust as our collective?
Yeah, he was big time. He's actually a real thorough guy. Like me and him talked about not even just about basketball. It was life just after basketball, just get into real estate. Like I'm always like picking his brain on this, that, and the other. And it wasn't just always about X, Y, and Z. It was just like, Rod, what are you gonna do after basketball? And me, I want to get into real estate, and he's a great person for that. So that was like another win on the situation. But he did play a factor in it. Real cool guy, and knows what he's talking about. He's always like bringing up ideas on to do something. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he's not just a good guy to talk about real estate. He's probably one of the best guys, in this town, in this state, in this region to talk to about real estate. He's a successful guy. Definitely get on his team, on his side, and he's definitely going to help you out for sure.
Yep.
Looking at this season, obviously this season's been a bit of a roller coaster. We've had some tough games we've lost. We've had some tough games we've won. We've dealt with a lot of adversity. Obviously Jalen was recovering from an injury, got back, got cleared, and then is out for the season. Christian missed some extended time with in the concussion protocol. Terrion, we knew when he signed here, he wasn't playing this year's red shirt. And so there's been a lot of adversity. We've been competitive in every game, no matter what it is, no matter what we're going through, we're competitive. How do you think all that adversity has affected this team and impacted you all, compared to maybe to some, Georgia Tech or Georgia that you've been on before?
You know, since day one, I knew we're always going to be talented than most other teams, but talent sometimes doesn't always get you to the finish line. I love this team a lot. Like one thing about us just being down in those games, like I felt like, yeah, sometimes we lost our fight, but it was I think at La Tech when we was at La Tech, we was probably down 12-ish early. But we didn't give up. Like and it's hard for somebody not to give up after being down 12 points. We found a way, come back, and we won the game. But what I like with this team, like we're gonna continue to fight. You know, it's not always easy when people go down for the injuries. Christian was out for a few weeks. That just gives time for somebody else to step up, like Tegan. KL went down, Tegan came in and just like exploded onto the scene and have been helping us ever since as well. But it's just all getting us prepared for the conference tournament. That's all that matters at the end of it. Just be able to make that run in it, then go into the March Madness and make a huge run into it.
Hey,
But I'm excited. This team, I feel like they don't give up. So that's
yeah.
that's the thing.
Hey, we're ready for that March Madness talk. It's been a while around here. We're itching for it.
I, that's one of the other reasons I showed. I feel like this team we can get there. Like, yeah, our record's 8-7, but it just happens. Basketball happens, and it's not going to always be pretty to the finish line. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we've seen glimpses of this team being incredibly good both on both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
At different stretches of different games. Defensively, we've locked down. Offensively, we've had some really good halves of basketball.
yeah,
And I still think the general consensus from the fan perspective is that there's still optimism that this team can get hot right now and
oh
make
yeah.
a run through Huntsville and win that conference tournament title, punch that ticket to March Madness. What do you think that the team is needing to focus on right now to make that special tournament run down in Huntsville?
Just playing for each other, just playing for the jersey that you're wearing every day, just playing 100% energy. Now it's March Madness. We're in March, like it's just all in or go home, and I don't think these guys want to go home anytime soon. So just us being together, not turning the ball over off silly mistakes, just being dialed in, just giving your all out. Because that's what we're going to need in 3 days when we go to the conference tournament. 3 games in 3 days.
Hey, it's going to be tough, but we've got the guys to do it. That's for sure. Now, I do want to pivot away from basketball a little bit, and I think it's fitting that you're wearing the hoodie that you're wearing because I want to ask you about your clothing apparel. I've seen you promoting it on Instagram and other platforms. So I guess tell me, what does that mean to you, and how did you get started in this apparel industry?
So it was actually my brother who thought of the idea, and I just try to push it to the light more, just getting on merch and stuff. But it's a OLTMB, which means only loyal to my brothers. We had talks of changing it to love, only love to my brothers. But me personally, I wouldn't want somebody to love me. I would want somebody just to be loyal to me, just have my back 24/7, whatever the case is. So I'm big on loyalty. Like that's one of my things. Like I always been huge on my dad's been huge on just my family. So that's where that part came from. So I was just trying to bring it to light. And it was actually funny, like I was trying to get these hoodies made and manufacturer kept messing it up. And I was just gonna give up. My teammates consistently asking, when are you gonna drop the hoodies? When are you gonna drop the hoodies? So they actually gave me the motivation to actually just continue through with it and wind up dropping the hoodies. And they're like one of my biggest supporters with the hoodies. So I always see them wearing it every day, or even the coaches might even throw on a hoodie and wear it too. So that's a cool thing about it.
Yeah. So after we get done here, you're gonna have to drop me a link, size
Yeah,
large. I'm gonna have to find one.
right.
Now you're as a member of the Red Towel Trust Collective. How would you say that they've impacted you as a student athlete since you've been in Bowling Green, Kentucky?
It impacted me a lot. Not even like on the financially side, but just more just being in the community. Like I never been involved more than the community than I have been here. Like whether that's going to the elderly homes with the kids. We even did with the special needs programs. Just getting a little bit of everything, and you get to just see life from a different side. Like how yesterday I was at the Boys and Girls Club, and they're just looking at me like I'm just so the biggest guy on earth. They're like, wow, like how are you so tall? And just me interacting with them, I just think is a cool thing because having somebody just to, that they can look after and stuff. So that's one of the biggest things that I love about just being in the community with the Red Towel Trust. And of course, the financially side, just helping my mom, just helping her be able to get here and doing things I couldn't do before or she was struggling with. But it's just been huge, like, and I actually been enjoying it as well. So
Yeah, that community service aspect is second to none. And I know the Red Towel Trust athletes this last year logged over 450 hours of community service. I know this year they're going to blow that number away. And that impact, you're talking about the impact you're having on kids. I know they're also having that same impact on you. It makes you look at life from a different perspective. So I love to hear that you're doing that. You enjoy that.
David
Uh,
asked about where's your teammates? Where your other teammates at? I'm like, they coming now, they coming.
yeah, man.
They watching us, want our autographs. We went in one time for High Five Friday, and they just went crazy. Like wound up going into the gym. They're like, "Could you sign this? Could you sign that?" I'm like, yes, I got you. Can you take a picture? I want to send it to my mom. I'm like, of course.
They probably want you to lift them up to the goal, let them get a quick dunk in.
Exactly.
I don't blame them. Hey, lift me. I can't get up there either. You got to lift me up too. So,
Yeah, look,
um, sticking with some off the court stuff, I've heard you like to cook and you're a good cook, but maybe tell us something else about Rodney Howard, the person, maybe that most fans wouldn't know about you. Maybe it's a fun fact or just something
yeah,
you like to do when you're not playing ball, practicing rehab and all that, the basketball
yeah.
stuff.
Of course, I love to play the game. We play with my teammates. We're always competitive in that. I have a dog. She's forward. She's a blue nose pit bull, and her name is Remy. I had her since I was at UGA. Got her there since she was like a little baby. She's so hard headed. As I was taking care of her, but I started to get into reading books. I actually just bought a few. So now I'm trying to get into reading books. That was one of my New Year's resolution. But one of them is actually called, I got it right here, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Don't Believe Everything You Think. So I'm trying to get into reading books and, learning more and stuff. But yeah, that's me. I love cars too. That's one thing I do love. When we went to the Corvette Museum, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. We were shooting the video there.
Yeah. So we kind of take Corvette Museum for granted. It's right here in our backyard. And I haven't been there in 20 years, probably. It's crazy.
I instantly FaceTime my nephew, and because every car I get, he's like, "That's my car. That's my car. That's gonna be my car." I'm like, "Okay." I FaceTimed in the museum. He's like, he thought I was the coolest guy on earth. He's like, "What? You at the Corvette Museum? I gotta go."
I would say that's an expensive gift, Uncle Rod. There, you got a big ticket you about to have to pay for there. Um, man, I've loved learning everything about you, man, and I've enjoyed your time. The couple times we've crossed paths, getting to know you and see you. I don't want to keep you any longer. I know you're a busy guy. I just want you to know that your time on the hill so far from my perspective. Me getting to know you has been very enjoyed.
I
Every time I see you, man, you've got the big smile that you've had this whole interview.
yeah,
Game, always recognize game. You see me
right.
wearing my Jordans, I see you wearing yours. We just just throw it up. Hey, I see you.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's another thing I like is shoes. I used to never been into shoes because I never wanted my mom to just buy me that. And once I got my own money and stuff, like I love getting shoes. Like if I had to save up and buying the shoes, even the Hank has a whole shoe collection too. I
oh, I
be seeing
know.
the website. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way. I couldn't afford them when I was young. Now I got a little, a little bit. I do it for myself. Every once in a while, you got to treat yourself. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, actually, I bought Coach. I don't know if you've seen it, but I bought Coach Lutz a pair of threes.
I've
Jordan,
seen them.
he wore them. What game was that? It was senior night against New
Yeah,
Mexico State. He wore them. I seen. I thought, oh yeah, them are heat. Those are fire.
yeah, yeah. It's one of my favorite Jordans. Absolutely. I'm gonna let you get out of here. I want to wish you well. I want to wish your team well. I know you're going to finish this season strong.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, joining us, and just having a good fun talk and letting us get to know you better, man. I appreciate you for being here.
I appreciate you having me. Have a good day as well.
Yes, sir. You too. Go Tops.
Appreciate you.